everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged.
Hey, you guys. How are y'all doing this Thursday? How are you guys doing? I figured we would diverge from our normal, way that we do things here, where we actually go over court documents and actual facts, because, this happens every time I start correcting the Goncalveses on things, which is fine. It's expected because I'm here for the truth. I'm here for the truth for all 4 victims, not just one family to be in the spotlight and getting all of the attention for no reason. I'm here for the truth for all 4 victims. And at this point, Bryan included, because if he's innocent, he's technically a victim of this situation too, but only time will really truly tell the truth on that situation. But we all know how we majorly feel over here. There are some that are here and still very much support the channel that believe that Bryan Kohberger is the guilty party. And that's completely fine. We can have our discussions over here and it not be a big deal. It's whenever you come over here being an a-hole that you get the asshole side of me, as some people here recently have realized. So we're going to show them what it's like to really do the things that they claim that we over here on this channel do. Because whenever they're talking crap about me, they're not just talking crap about me, they're talking crap about you guys, about my viewers. Because you guys are over here and you agree with a lot of the stuff that I say. Granted, not everything, which is perfectly a-okay. But whenever they come over here and act like complete a-holes and then get mad and start name calling, and the only thing they can do is insult my weight gain. They can call us pro-burgers because they had to create a name in order to just be insulting. If they want to see what it's like to not be fact-driven, that's what we're going to show them tonight, even though a lot of this 4chan stuff is super interesting. And a lot of it really feels like it has a lot more standing than all the stuff that the state is claiming when it comes to Bryan Kohberger. Let's be so serious. When a lot of us first saw these 4chan posts, we were like, where's the cops? Because it all seemed like it made the most sense. And honestly, with the way that Steve Goncalves feels like Bryan Kohberger like ninja'd into this house and had a kill kit ready to go on the back porch, whenever he hears the deep details of what this 4chan theory is when it comes to there being multiple frat boys included, kill kits literally posted out everywhere, it would make more sense for somebody in that neighborhood that knew the homes, that knew the cameras, that knew which angles wouldn't be seen on said cameras, that knew which spots in, I don't know, rock walls to hide clothes and or weapons. I mean, this has a lot more standing, especially whenever you consider the fact that, a long time ago, just going through the PCA, granted, it's been deemed sort of irrelevant now at this point by both sides and just, facts in general. The PCA really did make it sound as if the white Hyundai Elantra that they called Suspect Vehicle 1 never stopped. There's stuff going on inside the home, timestamp-wise, around the exact same times that this car is doing 3-point turns and turning around over there and going this way and that way and everything else. I did like a 3.3-part video series about like the car and the movements just in the PCA, and the car never stopped. According to me and what I was able to figure out myself, my own opinions, don't take my word for it, my opinions, based off the timestamps, and even now going through what they have now, the car didn't stop. The car wasn't parked. There's just no way. And that's why their timeline keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because it was like 13 minutes. Then it went down to 7 to 9 minutes. And now what was the last thing they said? 2 to 4? 2 to 4 minutes? Are they out of their freaking minds? Just with the stuff that Steve Goncalves has told us here over the past few days about Kaylee, there is no way that this entire thing happened in 2 to 4 minutes, just with the Kaylee situation and what we've been told by them, I guess, really about the fight that would have had to have happened with Ethan. 2 to 4 minutes? What kind of stuff y'all doing, broski? Because y'all really need to make sure that stuff stays off the street. It makes y'all absolutely just out of y'all's minds, just not in this reality. No, I'm sorry. That's not true. That's ridiculous. Now, I want to go over the 4chan stuff, because today I was over on Twitter and There's a couple of slides I'm going to show before the Twitter slides that I went and grabbed real quick that are actually like based on the, fraternity stuff from the very beginning. But these other ones were honestly ones that I hadn't seen before that were posted a few days after the fraternity ones. So the fraternity ones were posted on 12/12/22, and the other ones I'm going to show you were posted on 12/14 of 22. And they mentioned the white Hyundai Elantra. They mentioned a direction that they think that it went in. There's a lot of things mentioned, including how it could possibly have been the getaway car. And if you are one that believes that this whole 19-minute theory makes more sense than what we're being told in court when it comes to Bryan, then them again having little micro kill kits everywhere so that they can change clothes quickly and they know exactly where things are and which camera angles aren't going to pick up, and they knew they could go there, commit the crime, and get back in 19 minutes and leave their phones on autoplay on YouTube in their room so it looked like they didn't leave and all the things. Again, if Steve Goncalves can think in his mind that it's totally plausible that one man did all this, then why is it that whenever it comes to a fight between Ethan and Xana escalated into something insane that he refuses to take like any credence to it whatsoever? Is it because it takes the shine away from Kaylee? Is it because it proves that Kaylee literally was just happenstance and she should have never been involved in it, and he can't handle the fact that he's no longer going to be the star of the show? Again, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm going based off of the behaviors that I have seen from these people. Is the reason why Steve Goncalves rolls his eyes so far in the back of his head whenever alternative perpetrators are mentioned or whenever the frat party is mentioned is because he doesn't want to lose the control he thinks he has as being the shining star of the case? Serious question. I really am wondering. So let me say hi to a few of you guys. It's been live for a few minutes, but I want to say hi to those of you that were in here first. Hey there, Dak, your freaking name, bro. I can't even say it out loud. It makes me crack up. Hey, how you doing? Hey there, Comrie, how you doing? Mr. Kevin, Karen Bailey. It is really interesting. It is really, 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 really interesting, especially whenever you consider the fact the way that the university came in and destroyed the home so quickly. And the more details that we find out, the more that we're just like, man, what in the hell is happening? It's just insane to me, the disgustingness. Hi, friends. Hi. Hey there, Melinda. Beauty for Ashes. You don't know much about it. It's going to be pretty intense for those of you who haven't seen this stuff before. Now, I grabbed a couple of slides from Blogger Girl, BLAHGERGIRL. You'll see her icon at the top whenever it comes to the frat ones. That was just the first one I could grab to grab a few screenshots to go along with what I saw today, because the main ones I want to talk about are what I saw today, especially the information regarding the white Hyundai Elantra. It was really, really interesting. Hey, they're simply solo. Trees need love too. We're about to plant a lemon tree. My youngest has been asking me for a while for a lemon tree. Opinions on some facts. Oh, there's not going to be any facts in this one today. This is going to be all speculation station. Hey there, Patty. How you doing? Kitty meow meow. I was going to bring Kitty Cat in here, but she's been a little menace. Like, she's in her terrible twos. And I come in here after leaving her in here for like 5 minutes, and every pin and every piece of makeup that's in like the shape of a pin that I own is on the ground. So she's just going to be MIA for a little bit. Hey there, Bella. Hi everyone, I'm a brain dead moron pro-burger getting high and thinking up conspiracies while making free Bryan signs. Want to join me? It's wild the way that they say stuff. Like, I'm sorry. So in order for you to like combat the fact that we have brains and ask questions, you had to create a term because you're wrong. So you had to create something in order to make an insult because of how completely wrong you are. There's nothing that already exists. People are wild. Hey there, dog mom. Hey there, Jackie. Hey, Deb, misbehaving. Oh, are we already acting crazy? This mouse is wild. I had to get a replacement, and for some reason, I originally ordered my keyboard on Amazon Prime, and it's here in like literally 2 days, but I ordered the replacement because the mouse is on illegal substances. And it's going to take until like the middle of May to get here. And I'm like, what kind of crap? So if this thing acts up, it's really not my fault. I'm trying. I'm waiting for the replacement. Hey there, misbehaving. Small fries. How you doing? Teresa B. Broccoli Rob. I've had that once in my life. It really is different than broccoli. It really, really is. Did anyone hear a podcast about his wild jail behavior? No. I have not. What podcast? And is it a verified and validated information? That's the main question there. Hey, Deb, DKM, how you doing? Jenny Green, Mr. Deliria Frame, you're scared. You're scared of 4chan? Are you? Who BK what? What? Do what? What you asking me? I'm not really quite sure. Hey Shabazz, how you doing? Steph. Currently Friday, May 2nd at 1:30 p.m. That's so crazy. Time zones are wild. I am so horrible with them too. Hey there, Danny. Who is Jules talking about in her post about sharing facts? And if that person didn't like it, they shouldn't be into your crime. Anyone with a problem. Anyone with a problem. My issue is that no one tries to call me out for being wrong on something until I'm saying something about the Goncalveses. Like I had one person, and I'm sorry if this offends people, but if it offends you, I guess the shoe fits. If it doesn't, then you're obviously somebody with a working brain that knows not everything is about you. Just because you're a member doesn't mean anything to me whenever it comes to the way that I respond to you if you're acting a certain way. Because there's a lot of memberships in here that are gifted. So you can be somebody who doesn't like me, who's subscribed just so you can run your mouth to me in my chat, but somebody gifts memberships and you get one. So just because there's a membership circle doesn't mean that you're going to get away with trying to say something that's not true. So I had somebody say that they had been catching me in a lot of stuff that's wrong lately, but they didn't literally list anything that I'd apparently been saying wrong lately, while they're saying that I've been getting all kinds of stuff wrong lately. And of course it was on the video, the last one of part 2 interview, where I'm saying that Steve is wrong about stuff and showing receipts showing that Steve is wrong about stuff, because there's literally proof out there about things that Steve is freaking wrong about. And the facts is the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter that he's out here running his mouth. If he's running his mouth about things that are not true, then someone should have the cojones to tell him that. And Daniel's not going to do it. And I know damn well they don't like me. I've known for a long time that they keep tabs on what I say. I'm not stupid. You don't block me from the Facebook page and then unblock me, and then I'm supposed to think you don't know who I am. Honey, baby, you have to go and search my name to unblock me. I know you know who I am. So I'm going to come out here and I'm going to say that's not correct and that's not correct. I understand where you're coming from, sir, but that's not correct either. I have the right to say that. And anybody who's not doing that and just, placating to his bullshit is not doing him, Kaylee, or any of the victims or any of the victims' families any justice. Okay. And that's just how I think. That's how I've always thought. And I'm never going to change my stance on that, because I have morals and ethics, and truth is truth. And truth is the only thing that matters. So that being said, that was for everybody. That was for literally everybody. Because don't come out here and say that all of a sudden I'm wrong about a bunch of stuff. Where were the comments about me being wrong before you suddenly had an issue with the fact that I'm saying something about Steve Goncalves? If you would have said, hey, are we sure about that? Because in this document it says this, then I would have done like I normally do, and I would take it up and I would go to the document and I would proofread it again and I would see if I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, what do I normally do? Plenty of you guys know, because you've been here to witness it. Here comes a video. Hey guys, I was wrong about this. This is what I said. This is what I found. This is what it actually is. My bad. Happens constantly. But don't come at me acting like I'm wrong about something just because your panties are in a bunch because I'm pissed off that somebody's out here lying and you don't like the fact that I'm saying something about it. That's really dumb. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get on with these 4chan posts. Now, I will say there's a lot of bad words. There's a lot of just disgusting bad words in here. 6 months, always doing a great job. Thank you, Jules. Well, thank you, Moonvale, for being here for 6 months. But as for the jail calls, no. If you know exactly where it's at and it's legitimate information, then we will definitely bring it up, because we follow facts and truth and verified info. It'd be interesting to know what he's been up to. It's been a super long time that he's been in there, and I would really love to know what he's actually been up to. He can't just be being completely quiet. He's got to be moving around doing stuff. We know that his life changed a lot whenever they moved locations. So it would be interesting for sure, as long as it was validated and verified information. I definitely would love to know what's been going on behind closed doors for sure. Now, I'm not going to get into too much of like the names. You're going to see on some of the screens that the names are already on there when it comes to Blogger Girls. The names of the people are already on there. They're crossed out, but on there. So I guess she must have gotten them from a different source and then put the names on there. But a lot of people, 99% of you that are in here have seen this stuff before. You know the names on here, so not a really big deal. Thank you for the 99-cent super sticker, Olivia. I very much appreciate it. I wish I wish that it would show me. It's so ridiculous it doesn't show me. I like you, Jules. Well, I like you too, Tara. And see, me and Tara butt heads constantly. Like constantly. She's usually one of the first ones in here. So that's what I'm saying. Like we can have differing opinions constantly and it's totally fine. We get along beautifully because we're humans with brains. We don't have to insult each other like a bunch of psychos. 1,000 Julys, thank you for the 1999. You are on fire, Warrior Roman. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really wonder what's going on with him, honestly, for realio. Teresa B, a member for 2 months. Love it here. Been watching a long time. Well, thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. And Michelle gifted a membership. See, somebody who actually likes me might get it. Somebody who doesn't like me might get it. That's what's beautiful about it. Just let them get it. We do. We do a lot. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to share these. Be prepared. Some of these are pretty gross. Like, I'll say this. There's no respect whatsoever when it comes to the people that wrote these. See, there's already like horrible words on here, which I probably should have like tried to blank out a little bit better, but I was trying to get this done and I didn't have a lot of time because my son wanted fried chicken. So of course he had to pick the thing that's going to take me the longest to cook today. So we're all adults. I'm not going to read the words. If the words are on there, you don't want the read, you don't like the words, just go past the words. We don't need to look at the words. I'm skipping words. You already know how this channel usually works. I'm skipping words. This is one of the first ones that was posted back on 12/12. And it is about the two Davids. The two Davids are two frat brothers that were in the same frat as Ethan Chapin. Now, the issue when it came to Ethan is that we came to find out we came to find out that he was actually kicked out because of his grades, and that one of these frat brothers had apparently been responsible for helping try to get his grades up, tutoring him, and he sort of like failed at it. This is the rumor. He failed at it. It didn't do him, whatever was happening didn't do him any good. Ethan's grades never came back up. Xana, on the other hand, was apparently doing a really, really good job at helping Ethan get his stuff together. And the way that whenever them two came together, Xana's dad, Jeff, made several comments about how much better everything for Xana had become whenever she got with Ethan. It's like she was blossoming. She was really seeing what it was like to be in like a real adult relationship and live with her boyfriend. That was one of the things that Jeff said in that very first interview, that he was at least thankful that she got to have, is that experience of living with someone that she loved, having that like real relationship experience. And then we had at the memorial, or maybe it wasn't at the memorial. Was it at the memorial? I don't remember if it was at the memorial or if it was for something. I think it was something separate, but all the frat brothers were in like suits. And this one guy got up and said that him and Ethan had been talking about how about a month after the crimes would have been around the time that Ethan would have been moving back into the frat house. So that's proof right there that he wasn't living there. There was already some sort of tension, some sort of animosity in that situation. And since there was already a lot of stance to that, because we know damn well Ethan was at Xana's. We have people from the frat saying he wasn't living there. He was excited to be moving back soon, meaning he wasn't living there. So that gives, again, some stance to there was some issues. They're claiming this one particular person who they're also claiming got into an argument with Ethan the night that all of this happened was the same person that's technically getting blamed for the fact that Ethan's grades slipped. So whenever it comes to these fraternities and sororities, whenever you're given some sort of responsibility, whenever you have an obligation and you fail, it's like a whole different level. Okay. Like a lot of people might not understand it. I truly don't really understand it. I don't want anything to do, nor have I ever wanted anything to do with the whole like Greek life thing. But I've seen a lot of videos. I've listened to a lot of testimonies from people who have been in and out of the Greek life situations. And it's always the same. It's almost like a cult. It's very brainwashing. It's very emasculating. I don't know what the same word is for making a woman feel that way. Honestly, I don't. I'm not afraid to act like I, don't know something. I'm just a human. And yeah, I don't know the same word for that. But they make you feel like crap. And they bring you down in a way to where they can really control you. So if this, let's say, frat brother was really getting like all kinds of, flack for being the reason why Ethan ended up failing instead of, whatever the real reason was, which, you get to a certain age, you're responsible for your own certain, mishaps and whatnot. But if this person was getting the majority of the blame and then felt jealous because, oh, here comes this girl. This girl's helping Ethan get his grades up, and now it's making me look stupid. Yeah, I can see, if you're, on some substances, been drinking, you're surrounded by a bunch of people with the same mindset. I can see how getting all hyped up and crazy could cause some issues, could cause you to maybe do something stupid. I mean, peer pressure is real, especially in college. Let's be so serious. It's really disgusting how a lot of this stuff literally happens. It's really bad. Legendary. I'm offended red, and then you're over it. You're so ridiculous. Thank you for the $9.99 times 2, Legendary. You've been here for a long time. I know that's for sure. I know you've been here for a super, super long time. Meg P. been in the Potato Witness Protection Agency HR meeting for sure. Where's Meg? Is she in here? I could have sworn I saw her earlier. Oh, yep. Y'all are tagging her. But what happened? Somebody said sorry to Meg for something. What happened? I don't know where it's at. I must have missed it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Yes, you did. We are live. We try to go live every Thursday. If I can't for some reason, I usually let you guys know. Though probably could give you guys... I know, especially because of Heather's videos. All of her potatoes are hilarious. She's glitching. Oh, there you are. She is glitching. Glitched. Oh. Marjorie said those roommates are the biggest part of how this all got to cover up, and they were led by the police with their 911 call bogus story. I know. And it's crazy how all this information, especially all this information, especially from the judge, he's coming out and he's putting all of this information out, giving us even more reasons to be suspicious of the way that they are behaving, how they have been behaving, how they were behaving, all of the things. And for some reason, it's not hitting him in his big old bald head that something's wrong here. I don't understand how, it's sort of like politics, I guess. You have some people over here that think it's okay for books about nasty things to be in kindergarten classrooms. And then there's people on the other side that think it's completely freaking inappropriate and uncalled for and should never happen. It's the same sort of situation here. There's a whole mindset of people that just think that the roommates are completely innocent of anything. And it doesn't matter that they were, acknowledging the fact that there was a situation happening at the time, that one of them saw Xana on the floor, that all of these things, and then all the social media and going on and acting like nothing. It doesn't matter that now there's a defense expert claiming that there's direct evidence of a cleanup that took place after the fact in that 8 hours. None of that stuff matters. They're still just coddling them like little babies. Like literal little babies. I don't understand it. If they weren't chicks, this wouldn't be happening. Those guys, if Bethany was Brad and Dylan was a Dylan, their lives would have been ruined from day one. To this day, they would still be having people doing all kinds of crazy shit. Now, I know that we ask a lot of questions, but they really got off the hook easy, because literally take away the fact that Bryan Kohberger was arrested. Somebody posted this on Twitter. Take away the fact that Bryan Kohberger, I don't know if y'all heard that. My pinky hit the microphone. I hope it wasn't loud. Take away the fact that Bryan Kohberger even exists in this situation and only focus on the other facts. The facts of the actual timeline. Take away Bryan completely. Take away Bryan, just making it completely unknown, like it pretty much is really, making it completely unknown, and just focus on the facts. Tell me that shit ain't suspicious. Take away Bryan Kohberger and tell me that you're not going to be looking at, especially Dylan, like, what the shit are you not telling us? There's no way that a human being with a brain that works, even, less than above average, okay, would sit here and think that there wasn't a problem in this situation. So the fact that there's a majority of people that is really baffling, but I almost wonder if a lot of it is because the Goncalveses are, in my opinion, putting on some fake empathy for them. Because like I said, Daniel from Drunk Turkey told me a long time ago, I was on his show over 2 years ago, and he told me this behind the scenes, what he was told about Dylan and what she said at the memorial versus what they were told by Jack. And Dylan lied to Steve's face. So the fact that they can come out here and, I guess, protect them publicly, I don't understand. And I think because they are protecting them publicly, so many other people are protecting them. And so because one of the families is protecting them, they want to attack anyone who's saying anything because it goes against what the families are saying. Because, some people have that mindset of just, being a sheep, no matter who the wolf is, I guess, or whatever the hell, whatever. I just don't really quite understand how there's not more people questioning what's happening, especially when it comes to the judge himself. Like, why is he not being like, she said what? She took how many videos? How many photos? And then she edited them and deleted them? Oh, no, 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 no. She talked to her dad how many times? What time did she call her mama? Why isn't this judge, like, really grilling them? I mean, maybe he is in the background, but damn, it don't feel like it. Damn, it don't feel like it. It really does not feel like it. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Laura True Love, member for 1 month. Love your bluntness. Sometimes people think it's too much, but I guess that I grew up in a way to where, we don't need to even get into how I grew up. I don't believe in sugarcoating anything. Do I hear the sirens? They are like, are they going to pull into my neighborhood? Wow, that is louder than normal. Oh, my window's open. Behind my blind, I was like, holy crap. That's really loud. That's my window. Okay, that's my fault. Yeah, let's talk about that. You know what? Let's not talk about that right now. Let me just say this. We'll talk about this in a separate situation. There is no way. I saw that, Jackie. I saw that. Last minute hearing, and I put it on my thingy-mabobber. It's wild. I'm so freaking curious. So curious. Steve made that comment, and it was really, really interesting because Hitler has never done anything like this before. He has never done anything like this. And he doesn't know how to shut the hell up. He doesn't let anyone on the defense side talk at all. At all. Literally every 30 seconds, he's interrupting Ann Taylor. And again, we've already seen what it's done. News Nation and a couple other idiots came out here trying to act as if Ann Taylor was about to slip on some information, and that's why she suddenly stopped talking. No, it's because Hitler was backed away from the microphone and started interrupting her, and we couldn't hear anything. We could just see his mouth moving. But they didn't show the part where his mouth was moving. So it looked as if, he wasn't interrupting her, and she was just about to slip on some info, and oh, she caught herself. Oh no, look what happened. No, that's not what happened. So he needs to learn how to sit forward when it comes to this trial, because they're going to try to probably pull some bullshit then too. And they're going to really try to get away with it. And it's going to be really, not cute whatsoever. Oh, you don't hear any sirens. That's interesting because my window's open. And there's a ghost apparently because my other keyboard just fell. Okay, I guess we're just going to have a whole bunch of crazy stuff happen today. That's fine. You think Bethany threatened? I think she's threatened with jail. I think she's threatened with jail. I just don't understand why, if you really felt like the guy that they had was the right guy and the only guy, why you would fight so hard to come back knowing that you would be completely 1,000,000% backed by pretty much the entire planet. You got to think about that. You did hear sirens. See, I know there was sound somewhere. I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. Like, she would have so much support. This isn't like some little small town situation. Like, I don't try to make this about me, but I'm going to make this about me for a second. When it came to my situation, and them wanting me to put myself in a very dangerous situation because they didn't care about our safety. They were letting my ex literally control everything when it came to everything. And instead of letting us zoom in, they were trying to get us to go down there whenever he'd already tried to put tracking devices and all kind of things that's already in the report. Like, they knew all of this. They didn't care. It's sort of the same thing here, except my case is little bitty and I don't have a support system like that. I don't have anybody that could be there with me. I don't have any of those things. Bethany has the entire world behind her of people that actually believe that she's a victim, of people that believe that Bryan Kohberger really is the guy. Shit, even though I don't believe that Bryan Kohberger is the person, if she actually wanted to show up and testify and tell her story, I would be supporting her just as much as everyone else. Shit, I know damn well all of you guys would be too. But it's the simple fact that they're supposed to have the right guy. And you are refusing to come across state line knowing all the support you have, knowing that the bad guy, the boogeyman's not going to get you. That doesn't math. That doesn't math. I need something to math. Thank you for the $2, Corinne. Hi, Jules in chat. Just practicing how this works. Be careful. Because it will do crazy things, those buttons sometimes. Please be careful. Thank you for the 1999 1,000 Julys. Thank you for bringing up that he acts like being present annoys him and that he won't speak into the mic. I know it's annoying. Get your freaking hands off your face. That's just as bad as like the people that are all about manners and etiquette and they always put their like elbows and stuff on the table and like, get your elbows off the table or get your hands out your face. You know, like whenever you sit like this and you're not supposed to. He does it the whole time. I'm like, sir, are you depressed? Do you need a difference in like career paths? Do you need something else in your life? Get out the chair then and give it to someone who's going to give a shit and do this right, because you sitting there acting like you're bored out of your mind is not going to do any justice to anything because you're not going to pay attention. Now, granted, it's a jury that's going to be making the decisions here, but his behavior is going to set the tone for trial. So if he's sitting there doing that the entire time, how do you think the jury's going to act? Do you think that they're going to act like they want to be there? Like they're going to pay attention? If home dude's just sitting there like this the whole time, like he doesn't give a shit. Seriously. Think about it. He's going to sit here like this. And like this. And like this. The jury's going to fall asleep. He's going to set the tone. He sucks. Yeah, he sucks. That's all he does. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Why? Why? If everything you're saying is so innocent and you were just so blackout drunk that you're just too stupid to realize that something was going on and oh my God, you're just a scared little girl. Oh my God. What you scared for? Literally. Come do what you're supposed to do and be a friend. Come do what you're supposed to do and be a friend. Be a friend to these people. If you feel so lucky for being alive, then come back and do them justice. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay. These 4chan posts. I took some screenshots. Again, there's a few from 12/12, a few from 12/14. I have them on a slide. They're 2-second slides just so I can get through them and go fast. It's 26 seconds long, meaning there's 13 slides. We're going to go ahead and go through them now. Again, I'm not going to read all the bad words. Okay. They can be up on the screen. I guess it's not doing anything because other people have had them up on their channels and nothing has happened. I'm just not going to say the words. You guys can see them. We're all adults. This first one is talking about the two Davids, which is David Roach and, no, not David Loach. Wrong. Not David Roach. David Loach with an L. I don't remember the other David's name. Honestly, I don't really want to get into all the names. I'm going to mention some of the names that are in this, but I'm not a person who really likes to come out here and just drop a whole bunch of people's names and information all over the place. I don't like doing that. I really do not like doing that. So we're going to avoid that as much as humanly possible. Okay. What they're talking about here, though, is how these guys are really good at lacrosse and with a knife and good at wrestling, meaning that they have the skills in order to do what was done. Somebody with that kind of background definitely makes more sense than somebody who got fired from a fish fillet place because he couldn't get the knife skills down. Okay. Someone with a validated lacrosse background definitely, would make more sense. Two people like that with that sort of fighting background, I kind of see where they say Ethan posed no challenge. If they have an actual fighting background, then his size wouldn't really mean anything whenever it comes to technique and skill. So I can see that being valid. They already gave their alibis. Well, if it's anything like we've already seen, what was their alibi? That they were wherever their phones were and their phones were on some sort of autoplay? Is that what they actually went ahead and did? And that's how it was so easy for them to get away with it because the cops just believed him based on the phone? Maybe. Everything within walking distance, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly where you're going. You've probably already figured out how to communicate with whoever you're doing this stuff with without a phone. Why would you need to take it anyway? DNA not being encoded, so whenever anything got actually pushed through, of course it wouldn't show up for anything because they've never been in trouble before. That makes sense to me. Does it not make sense? It makes plenty of sense. This is the one right here. Now, this one's separated into 2 spots because I wanted to try to make it as big as I could without it being, a little bit too ridiculous. This is the one right here with the timeline. The 19-minute one, the 19-minute thing here is really what throws me. And I guess what I really want to do is go back to the timing of the 4 heads in the background of the Banfield and maybe try to see if I can put a 19-minute calculation into something. I don't know if there's other channels out there that have already done that. There might be a few that try to do that now that I've said something. There's a lot of channels that take what I say because they're in here or they got people in here watching, and before I get the chance to do anything, they're running off and doing it. So if somebody gets to it before me, then it is what it is. But to know if there was some sort of like 19-minute interval, since that's what's being stated in here, that fits somewhere when it comes to the Banfield situation, those back-to-back calls between Maddie and Kaylee's phone and Jack Ducour, especially now, since Steve Goncalves is refusing to answer if there was actually a voicemail or not, and he's skirting around the question. It's crazy because about a year and a half ago, they had no problem answering that in an interview, and now he gets asked by somebody who he considers a buddy, and he is like not answering. So do we have proof of life for Kaylee before 3 a.m. or not? I mean, that you'd think that'd be something that he would really love for people to know. And instead of answering that question about there being proof of life for his child, he skirts around and starts protecting Jack. Whenever Daniel didn't ask him about Jack, he asked him about Kaylee and proof of life. It had nothing to do with Jack technically. Strange priorities, in my opinion. Strange priorities. I feel like he definitely could have answered the question and still defended Jack, and instead he completely just didn't talk about it whatsoever. It went on to defending Jack. Kim, Wisconsin. Glad I could catch a live. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for spending your Thursday night with me. I very much appreciate it. Tinusk Connie? Is that how you say that? Thank you for the $5. In my opinion, Hitler was drunk the day he couldn't hold his head up and had his hands over his face. Thank you for your critical thinking. I mean, I would almost want to agree, except it's literally every time. See, and look. I know. Because we asked that question for a minute. And then all of a sudden, they did an interview and they said it. And we were like, oh, okay, so there was a voicemail. But they sort of, see, that's why I need to go back and find it. If anybody just like, I know some of you just like keep things. If somebody knows exactly which interview it is, if you could email it to me, that'd be beautiful. Regardless, I'm going to try to find it. Because the way that I remember it, it's like they sort of skirted that too. And it wasn't really like straight up, there was a voicemail. They were asked about the voicemail situation. And then they said something about like, they said the word, yeah. And then of course started talking about other things. And they always go back to talking about how Kaylee kept mentioning the fact that they had a dog together. And I'm like, okay, but was that in text message or was that something she was trying to guilt him with to get him over there? And she was just saying that like in the voicemail to try to get his attention, or was it really just text messages? But then in this thing with Daniel, Steve said he saw the screenshots or something like that. It was something about screenshots. And I was like, okay, well, that's text messages then. In missed call screens, you can't. I mean, unless there's a voicemail that's been transcripted, which a lot of phones have. But why wouldn't you just answer the question and protect Jack? Why would you only protect Jack and not answer the question? It was just weird. I mean, yeah, I think so too. It's only Friday for you. Well, not only for you, but it's Friday for a few of you. It's still Thursday here. It's only 9:12. It's 9:12 my time. Let's read this one because, again, this is the one with the 19 minutes. And it talks about how they've been talking about doing something like this for a while. And unfortunately, we can't sit here and act as if this kind of sadistic darkness doesn't actually happen. School pupils are usually a very young age. There's a lot of things that happen in elementary school that shouldn't. It's literally unthinkable that kids of that age can even think of certain things, but then it happens and, it's a headline. Middle school is usually a big year, range for a lot of crazy shit to happen and kids to end up in the news. So for this post to talk about how these specific people had been talking about maybe doing something like this for quite a while isn't surprising because unfortunately humans are broken. So, I mean, it's not unusual. Okay. This was posted 12/12/22 at 2:37. This is military time according to the post that I have from 2:14. So this is 2 something in the morning. Bro, you can see the murder house from one of the Davids, Sigma Chi room. Once that third floor light turned, they did it. 19 minutes total, walk included. They talked about this, i.e., doing something like this at Bishop Kelly, which is a high school, and at Sigma Chi. So whoever went to high school together and ended up in the same fraternity together, they allegedly have been talking about doing something like this for a minute. I don't know. I think this is the DL guy, and Ethan got into a fight that night. Xana was allegedly talking. Let's go to the next one. Talking ish. I can't remember whose name that is right there. Somebody had problems with Maddie as well. This has been brewing since Fall Rush last year, which would have been with Ethan. The two of them went quiet on social media for 2 weeks before and after. Now, somebody did tell me something a while back about how a whole lot of profiles went like super silent after the crimes, and I have 2 things about that. One, I agree. Could be them trying to hide themselves because they have something to do with something and they don't want, information out there. Cool. Number 2, everyone knows how social media works. So if there's profiles that went super quiet after the time of the crime, I really can't say too much because a lot of people probably did do that in order for their lives to not be torn apart by the people out here on, the interwebs that like to go and just get anybody's name who might have just said hi to somebody in a Walmart freaking grocery line one day and try to completely nitpick their lives and try to prove something that's not true. We know that happens constantly out here. But for someone to have removed their information prior to the crimes is an interesting concept, but you have to have proof of that. So I don't know. I have no idea if at the time that the crimes were committed, if anybody had ever saw any of their social medias, if any of their social medias were active. I don't know. So it's interesting because that would definitely show some sort of premeditation issue, especially if it's been boiling over for quite some time. Now, apparently somebody's mom is a paralegal, so he knows how to avoid incriminating himself. I'll say this, just because your mom's a paralegal doesn't mean that you technically know a damn thing. You honestly can probably learn just as much watching TV as you can from whatever a paralegal can teach you. Not to say that, they don't know a lot of things, but it's not like it's somebody with real trial experience, somebody who's really been going in there and doing anything forensically. So I don't know if this is just something that they're claiming, like how, some people like to come out here and be like, hey, my uncle's a cop. I know everything. No, you don't. Just because somebody in your life is one thing doesn't mean that it's got anything to do with you. So I don't know about that. But apparently this advice from his paralegal parental unit was about deleting his social media entirely. But I've seen screenshots. I've seen stuff about this guy's social media. So I don't really know how true all of that stuff is unless he just recently brought it all back. I'm not really quite sure. Okay. So same day, 12/12/22. This is now 3:03 in the morning. Saul, Ethan and Xana, Loach and Barry. That's the two Davids right there. At the party, Loach and Ethan have issues, back to rushing. It's sort of like another way of re-saying the same things from the previous post, but it is supposed to be from the exact same person. Ethan talked about Loach taking steroids and having those things shrivel up. Like we've been told that steroids do for a super, super long time. I've literally heard that my entire life. Literally my entire life. Loach pissed because he wanted Xana, which is interesting, if true. For dumbass youngins like Ethan, tutors are assigned, which is that's what I'm saying. All of this is so disrespectful. Everything about these posts when it comes to talking about any of them is so completely disrespectful. You could have literally came and told your little story without calling Kaylee what you call Kaylee and by talking all this shit about Ethan. It really could have been done a completely different way, and you still could have probably got your point across anyway. Ethan is a second-year fresher because, well, what did we talk about? His grades were bad. One of the frat guys got basically scolded in trouble in some way, I'm sure, because that's how it works whenever you are responsible for someone, because the grades were slipping, and Xana was apparently doing him wonders. wonders with his grades. So there's that. Barry apparently self-conscious about the fact that he is mixed with another race, which again, I don't know. I don't know what that would have to do with anything to do with Ethan and Xana in the argument. Seriously, that's just like something that you would have bottled up inside your own self for your own issues, I guess. So apparently, because this person has a lot of internal struggles, they talk a lot of empty shit. Is basically this person's psychological outlook on this guy. Barry and Loach talked about this in general for a while. This is where they're talking about how they had been, talking about doing something like this together since high school. Talked about leaving their cell phones behind on YouTube autoplay, no pings, no pew-pews, too loud, area completely, nobody around early Sunday mornings. Barry even calls out crap media. Media says Kaylee was target. That's false. She was bad luck. Targets were Ethan, Xana, and Maddie. Maddie was talking all kinds of crap about Loach, never acknowledged Barry existed. So jealousy, I guess, from not being acknowledged by the pretty girl. I mean, seriously, you're in college, you're in your 20s, get the frick over yourself. Mad's right about that one. He is that word, and Loach should have also, saying that the David should have turned against each other. That's wild. Do we skip the one with the 19 minutes? Because I don't remember reading that here. And I could have sworn that it was in one of these posts. I just saw it. Where'd it go? Okay, yeah, right here. The 19 minutes walk included. Yeah, that was wild. There's another one that I couldn't find. I think I might know where it is. I might pull up one of Grizzly True Crimes videos here in a second, because I think she has the one that talks about the electrician's gloves, the insulated electrician's gloves too. That was an interesting post. That was a really freaking interesting post. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the next one. This is 12/12/22 at 3:31 in the morning. High probability some brothers were aware. They called Jake, which is Maddie's boyfriend, or was Maddie's boyfriend at the time, Rogaine, because he's bald. Again, just disrespectful. Like, why? Why we have to do all this? Jake has ample opportunities and will play grieving boyfriend. And that was always kind of questionable, because that's always almost like they're trying to say that like he is very aware of the situation and how it played out, but he's going to take the opportunity to get a bunch of sympathy, which I don't believe. That's a little bit far-fetched in my opinion. But then again, I don't know. That's just, to me, far-fetched. Barry actually talked about this in detail in the past. There it is. Wear electrician gloves. Okay, there it is. Put on baggy clothes after and walk away. By the way, Barry's dad works for a professional cleaning company that was disposed of in Garden City over Thanksgiving holiday. No, I don't really know too much about this last portion. Possible, right? What really got my attention, and the reason why I decided to talk about this stuff today, is because of what I saw on Twitter, which is these posts that came from, oh man, this is the symbol. What is their name called? I don't want to like not give them credit by not saying their name. Let me get it real quick. So I can show you who it came from. Because I took the little thingy to show their icon, but forgot to put their name in it. So hold on. Petit Abiel. It's like French. Is this person that I got this stuff from. I'm going to show you the post real quick. Oh, there's another one. We might look at that one in a second. This right here is where I got these from. I had never seen the ones I'm about to show you before. I hadn't. I'd only seen the frat boy ones. I really try not to, like, I'm not even kidding. I really try not to get into all this stuff that doesn't have any backing. That's just a bunch of rumors with nothing. Even though I have so many issues with the fraternity and the way that the university did things, because I'm trying to stick to as much facts as possible. Just because people don't like those facts doesn't mean that they're not the actual facts. The facts are the only thing that actually matter. So I haven't gone in and like just bombarded my brain with a bunch of this 4chan post stuff. I haven't had a reason to. I need the timeline to make sense. I'm trying to get the facts. But this stuff is wild to me, especially with some of the information that they have in here, especially when it comes to who they claim is going to get framed for the situation. And also some interesting information about the Hyundai Elantra and what some people assume the Hyundai Elantra might have been used for, which again Goes back to what I had said a long time ago about how I don't think that car ever stopped. If the white Hyundai Elantra, if SV1 is actually involved in the crime and isn't the DoorDash and the cops are stupid, which is still a possibility. Sorry, not sorry. These people have proven that. Okay. There's just a huge possibility that that car was used to get rid of things and knew exactly where to park an idle, be an idle without actually stopping. Whoever was driving that vehicle never did not drive that vehicle. That whoever the driver of the vehicle was never got out the car. I'll put it that way because that's, again, the timestamps from their own timeline is where I got that from. I took their own information and came to my own conclusions. And every time they have tried to say that anything was going on inside that house, they're also claiming that the car is doing something else. And you cannot drive and be Mr. Stabby Stabby at the exact same time. That's impossible. So they're gonna have to come up with something better. I'm just saying. This top one right here is interesting because again, it's 1214. They're saying there's a white car on a local business. I'm really thinking that this is the gas station car that Bryan Inton showed us. I don't remember off the bat right now if, you know what? I'm not going to just like act like I don't know. Let me see. I don't remember if they ever actually put the gas station car into official evidence when it came to make and model of the vehicle. Because I know that Bryan Inton was like the only one that was coming out with that information. But then there was some screenshots and stuff that we ended up getting. I want to see. I feel like my brain is remembering there being one that really looked a lot like the one that we had from Bryan Inton. But I want to see first before I say, oh, this isn't verified by the police. Oh, yeah, no, I can't say that no more, I guess. Because isn't this it right here? It's just flipped. Right? That looks like the same one that was flipped. So I wonder if they actually went after Bryan Inton had that information and pulled that themselves. But I think that's the one from the gas station. I might be wrong, but that looks just like it. Because I remember a lot of people were like, it's on hubcaps or some shit. And I'm like, no, tires look like that when they're driving. People are crazy. People are wild. But I feel like, you know what? I want to make sure. Bryan Inton. Idaho gas station car? Shit, I don't know. Oh, good, because I don't like that website. It's not the same picture. This is the picture that Bryan Inton came out with. And crap, where'd it go? Damn it. I want to be able to switch back and forth fast. Okay. This is the one. Try to help me figure this out. Is it the same or is it flipped or what's going on? Okay, this is the one in the document. That's the one. It's not the same. Could it be the same one? But it's actually like a screenshot taken from the actual computer itself and not like an ad angle photo on this horrible thing that he did here. It is. You can tell the angle right here is the same. So this must be, they went and actually got the gas station footage, is what it seems like. Is it from Ridge Road? I don't see where it says that. Where does it say that it's from Ridge Road? Because this down here is from King. Does it say that it's from Ridge Road? I don't remember it saying that. I guess I'd have to look and see where he mentioned it. Is it, let's see, where would it be? What was that called? S what? S5. S. Oh. Yeah, right here. Oh, yep, you're right. It is from Ridge Road. Okay, so not the gas station car. Okay. Make and model chart number 3 attached. Attached states exhibit S4 of those videos. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on a minute. According to a Mills report, the multiple submissions of media were reviewed independently and collectively to identify the questioned vehicle's make and model. FBI report of Special Agent Anthony Emil attached as states Exhibit S4. Of those videos, the 1124 Ridge Road video provided a clear view of the suspect vehicle, make model chart number 3 attached as Exhibit S5. Yeah, Ridge Road. So not the gas station one. So then I can still say that the gas station one is not verified. And the only reason why I wanted to make sure is because they talk about a gas station in this. And I was gonna look up the dates for whenever this article came out, because the stuff about Bryan Inton, and I think, was after the stuff on. Let me see. That's Express. No, it's not. Okay. See, that's why I wanted to check it. So the New York Post put out an article regarding the gas station on 12/13 of 22, and they're talking about the gas station here on 12/14 of 22. See, that's why I wanted to check and see like what came first. That's how you kind of like validate if something's legit by checking the dates on things and see what came first. So Itten came out with his report first. And that's what they're talking about here when it says they saw a white car on a camera in a local business, and that's all they got. So they're running with it. So this person, I guess, is just assuming that the car that Bryan Inton took a photo of is the only thing they have. That wasn't true at that time. We already knew they had a whole bunch of footage from inside. Okay. Yeah. That situation right there. That situation right there. Okay, this part right here was interesting because I'm going to have to fix my thingy right here. This is interesting because everything about this is what's happening minus the fact that they didn't go to school together. No, the case will go cold and they'll end up framing a socially awkward loner who had some classes with the victims, plant evidence on his laptop to make it seem as if he stalked them via Instagram, convict him on first degree, and sentence him to death. The only thing inaccurate in this post is the fact that he went to a different school. But what's interesting is that the state has come out and told us 1,000 times at this point that there's no social media connections whatsoever. And people can argue the stalking definition for Idaho all they want to and say, oh, they meant surveilling, not stalking. It's the wording that's the problem. No, we went over the wording for the definition of stalking when it comes to first and second degree. And there are plenty of things in the definition of second degree stalking that they've tried to claim that Bryan Kohberger was guilty of, that it's turned out that he has not been actually guilty of. So it has nothing to do, based on research purposes, at least, with the definition. The definition is pretty clear cut, and he doesn't have any of those things on him. What else has the Goncalveses tried to constantly do? They've tried to constantly tell us that he was harassing the girls in some sort of way on Instagram. What's this right here? What does this say? That they're going to try to say that he was stalking them on Instagram. What happens every single time they try to tell us he was stalking them on Instagram? Even before, not even before, but before, the state had to come out and admit to us that that wasn't true. No matter who it was that had them on, where they told that story, there was always a little disclaimer up in the corner that said they couldn't substantiate the claims. Meaning that whatever the Goncalveses were showing them didn't look legit. There's a reason where literally none of them ever would substantiate it and let it just play out on the news. They'd always put a disclaimer. Legendary. You're so bipolar, broski. Thank you for the $9.99 just to tell me bye and not to leave forever. I'm back, but not really. See, you're wild. You're so hilarious. Thank you for the $9.99 over and over and over again. Thank you very much. Thank you for the $20, Ramalama. Someone in this chat said there is footage of Dylan in braids carrying Murphy out of the house. I've never heard this before anyone else. Okay. I think I know what they're talking about. I don't think she's carrying Murphy. What is her name? I can show you exactly what they're talking about. Give me just a second to think. Sonia D. So Sonia posted a photo a month and a half, 2 months ago, I believe. I don't know if it's still on her stuff. It's a girl. It's a girl in braids. I mean, damn, it looks like Dylan. It looks like Dylan. A lot of people are saying it's not from that time frame, that it's not her. I don't know if it's her. I can't validate any of that stuff. I'm not the person who got the information. Damn, did she get rid of it? Was it not a photo? Okay, that was about us getting information about the friend sitting by the trash can. Okay, that's for 5 months ago, so it's definitely not in her community post. Let me see if there was a short. Because a lot of people gave her a lot of stuff about it. I just don't know if it's actually Dylan or not. I'm trying to find it because I know what you're talking about. Maybe she got rid of it? No, because there she is talking about the vacuum type object, and it was definitely before that. There's everyone sitting by the trash again. I could have sworn she had it to where like you could see Dylan or the girl with the pigtails like on the front of the screen. My mouse is on illegal substances again. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'll give you the link to her channel in the chat. You can go over there and try to look around for it. But she's the person I saw it from. It was Sonia D. She had like a picture or 2 photos. I think it was maybe 2 photos. And it looked to be Dylan. The girl was getting escorted away with 2 police officers escorting her off. It looked to be a girl in a backpack. It was sent to her from someone who said that it was Dylan. But again, you just don't. You never know. You never know. You never know. The person carrying a dog in was at 6:30 a.m. from behind the house. That's the second time I've seen somebody say something like that. Is that on Linda Lane? Is there somebody carrying a dog on Linda Lane? Oh, okay, actually, the Queen Road Apartments parking lot. What? I'm gonna have to go do some more looky at that stuff. I've been saying too, we need to just, I know I need to pay my bills. But this full-time job that makes me depressed as hell every morning during the week, whenever I wake up, that I absolutely loathe every minute of my life for 8 hours, really gets in the way of me looking up things that I really want to look at. Yeah, I know there's a lot of them that are distorted. There's a few of them that had the information out like really early, like before I feel like anybody could have gone in and manipulated stuff. And I've also gone in and listened to a few other ones to like compare them to see if there's any differences. I really try to pay attention to the ones that I know are not like heavily manipulated because I need to try to get. I'll say this. When it comes to Linda Lane, I find it really difficult to believe that the footage is manipulated. What I do wholeheartedly believe is that a majority of the audio is manipulated. Yeah, bro, I hate it so much. And honestly, I could probably, like, I know that, like, it would be difficult, but I feel like I could handle, like, growing my YouTube up to be enough because I wouldn't be depressed. I can't stand it. Like, I'm good. I'm not even really good at my job anymore because I hate it so much. It's making it to where, like, everything that I learned over the past 15 years of doing this is pushing itself out of my brain and kicking itself out so that I can put things in there that I actually like. It's been a whole thing. Okay, this one, like I said, was super interesting because of the situation, especially considering, you know, the Instagram thing. I can't wait for it to get to the one with what they think happened with the Hyundai Elantra because it's interesting. No, but I found this one interesting. We're going to stop here first. I found this one interesting because I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is that they're talking about in this. And he is mentioned quite a few times. And this is about a month after the murders. So I don't know if this is. Slade is so loud right now. I guess Don must have opened his door. I don't know if he is Chief Fry. I don't know if it's Payne because he was the lead at the time. I don't know if it's Steve Goncalves. I don't know if it's some other random white boy, and I'm going to assume random white boy because later on they call him Marky Mark. I don't know who he is, but whoever he is investigating this case, and there's like conversations happening about who he is and what he thinks. But no one says who the frick he is. What this does say, though, is that whoever he is apparently followed the path that they believe the car took to a certain point, and it headed past a gas station. The gas station talked to him, which I guess he could also be Brian Enton. But this other stuff that they're saying only makes sense if Brian Enton is talking to people about stuff he's not reporting. Because whoever this he is sees a car going a certain direction and has assumptions about who might live at a certain apartment complex based on the way the car was headed, which I find interesting because the person that they mentioned is actually a real person in Dylan's real life. So there's that. We'll probably get to that one here in a second. I'm pretty sure I left it in here. Okay, this one was interesting too because this was before we had the PCA, before we knew a lot of information. I mean, granted, we don't really know hardly anything now. The PCA is completely irrelevant, really. But what did we recently hear from Steve Goncalves? The doors. That apparently he found out that all of the doors are not working, that the majority of the doors do not work. Now, we also, at the very beginning, were told, and it was obvious from watching body cam footage and seeing how people were in and out that place, okay, that pretty much everyone had the PIN code. But we're also sort of understanding that it didn't really lock correctly either. And we also were told that there was an issue with the back slider. Now, this says, how do they get past the stick in the slider frame? Everyone in the area knows to put a stick in there. So again, it sort of leads back to who would know the ins and outs? Who would know the little intricate quirks of that house that only people who knew the people in the home and knew of the people in and out of that home would know when it comes to the PIN code, how to get in and out, the stick in the door. Like you would have to know intricate things. Okay, he's playing some game and dying a lot apparently. Give me just a second. I'll address this one real quick. This is regarding the interview that Jeff did, where a lot of people think that he said that he changed the locks at Xana's house. If you go back and listen to the interview, the context around that portion that he's talking about, he doesn't say that he changed the locks. He says that she changed a lot. He's talking about, like I mentioned before, about how she was getting to see what it was like to be in like a real relationship and live with her boyfriend and stuff like that. It was right after mentioning how they were at home around midnight. And he says, he's talking about how basically her life has changed so much since she got with Ethan and for the better. Like things were getting better for her, things were improving for her. And he said she changed a lot. I thought I was on he said he changed the lock train forever. Forever. And then I went back and I found the original interview and I did a video about it and I was like, oh, he said she changed a lot now that he changed the lock. Because I was questioning, like, why would he go in there and change the lock for the front door? Because normally, especially in those kinds of places, like the landlord is responsible for doing that kind of stuff. And a lot of times, like if you change the lock without your landlord being the one that changes it for you, if you don't give them the new passcode or the new key within like a certain amount of time, like you can be in trouble. Like it's some sort of like contract violation because the person who owns the property doesn't have access to get into the property, and it could be like a whole thing, especially since these are coded doors. Now, when it comes to like her own personal door, I don't know exactly what kind of lock was on there because we've gone back and forth a lot with those locks. We've been told they were all PIN code locks because they were all separate leases and technically like living separately, minus the shared space of the kitchen, the living room, whatever, the bathrooms. But then we see like pictures of the house and I'm like, oh, that's a regular schmegler old doorknob. So I don't know. But I know that whenever that interview stuff first came out, people were really questioning that. And even I was like, oh, he went over there and changed the locks like a weekend before? That's wild because it was Parents Weekend right before it was Parents Weekend at WSU. So Jeff was in that area twice, once with Xana and then, a few miles away with Jasmine the very next weekend. But as far as I can tell and as far as everyone else can figure out, it was changed a lot. Now, when it comes to pizza and watching movies, I know that he said they were watching movies. When it came to the pizza situation, I couldn't find anywhere in the interview where he actually said that they were eating pizza, but Conspiracy did a video not long after everything had happened, before we had an arrest, but like fresh after the crimes. And she had found a bunch of their public Venmo transactions. And there was a transaction for pizza between Ethan and Xana. And then there was what looked to be a Domino's delivery driver on the Linda Lane footage that Heather ended up finding after I put my first video out about the Venmos, about the pizza and the pizza boxes behind the house and the possibility of what Jeff could have said, because I know Xana's mom came out and repeated it too. And I was really trying to find where he said it, and maybe I just couldn't find it. But the part about pizza never came out of his mouth during the interview. But then we started looking at the context clues around, and I'm like, damn, maybe they did order pizza. Because again, Venmo transactions, literally a freaking pizza emoji. Then the Domino's box is behind the house. Dad saying she was home. Domino's delivery driver lookalike car on the freaking Linda Lane footage. Yeah, very possible. That's why I'm really wondering, like, did they go home and then go back? Because if it really was just like within walking distance, like we've been told, it's very possible that they walked back and forth. So they could have been home around midnight, but we know now from the new information that between between 2 and at least 2:13, Xana wasn't home because they were having conversations about getting food, and Xana wasn't included because she wasn't there. And that's almost a whole 30 minutes past the 1:45 lie that they've been telling us about whenever they got home in the first place. And we also have Ethan's mom saying something about how 2 a.m. will always be a dark hour. That's always struck a bunch of people. A bunch of people always bring that up because it's a very dark thing to say whenever you've lost a child, that something is stuck in your mind that way. And 2 o'clock is not 4. So why are you saying that? People think that it's very relevant, and it very well could be. And then we had a woman that came out. I don't remember exactly where it was posted. I don't remember where it was posted. I have a screenshot of it somewhere. But it was in the very beginning, within the first few days, whenever the timeline started coming out from the police around the 1:45 thing. And she came out claiming that she was getting really upset with the timeline because her son had a text message on his phone from Ethan after 2 o'clock saying that they were still not home. So there's that. Oh my God, it's Rolo's. I don't know if that's where I'll look. Sorry. He's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Poofies. But like I said, I don't think that they can mess up the visuals. They can definitely manipulate the audio. I'll say that for people that think they hear certain things on the camera. You just don't really know for sure. Don't really know for sure. Prolo was innocent. Yeah, see, and I had heard. See, look, tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm crazy. Did we not hear something about the dog like getting out and being found later on, like after the cops were called in the very beginning? Let me get this shit off my face so y'all can see I'm serious. I remember hearing this. It's a little blob that looks like a dog. I'll take a look. See? I remember hearing that the dog. Oh, see, I know I'm not crazy. I'm lots of things, but I'm not crazy, bro. I could have sworn the first maybe like 2 or 3 days, it was something like the dog wasn't originally there, and the dog showed up at the house afterwards, and the dog didn't have nothing on him or some shit like that. Right? I mean, look, I might be a little bit. But I know I heard that. And it looks like I'm not the only one. Right, I see. So what happened with that? Girl, I don't know. Shay said, Jules, my question is, why would the girls be upstairs talking about going to the food truck and get a snack when Kaylee and Maddie just came from there? Why would they want to go back? I mean, I can say I don't know, but then I can say they were drunk off their asses, and one macaroni between two college girls drunk off their asses ain't enough carbs. I'll say that. So it sort of makes sense, but it kind of doesn't at the same time. I mean, they probably did munch down that macaroni and cheese before they even got home. They were drunk. They were so drunk they couldn't stand straight. Kaylee had her phone in her face to be able to see what the frick she was talking about. So no, they were probably wanting more food. And if Dylan had been home for a while before that, and Bethany had been home for a while before that, I mean, we don't really know what time they really got home either. I mean, we sort of have a time for Dylan now when we really didn't before, if I can remember correctly. I think they finally gave us a time for Dylan. But we don't have a lot of details on any of that stuff. But I feel like one more food isn't too abnormal, especially if, again, one macaroni shared between two girls. There's two more at home wanting more food. I just wonder if there's more than one food truck. And I still just find it so crazy that we're now finding out there's a whole nother conversation regarding food. And it's not about ordering in, and the people that ordered in weren't even home at the time that the conversation was happening. Like, how just wild is that? Dog loose. See, I heard that. Somebody saw the dog and brought it back. See, I remember that. See, I know I'm not crazy all the way, bro. Just maybe a little bit. I heard that too. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe that's why Kaylee kept calling Jack because Murphy was missing. That's a really good question. Like, that's a really, yeah. I mean, maybe that's why the Goncalveses just keep saying back and back and back and back and back and forth that she kept saying that, oh, Jack, we got a dog together. Like, maybe Murphy had ran off and she was trying to get a hold of Jack so that he could help her find him. Because I remember that. That is such a vague ghost of a memory. But damn, it looks like multiple people remember that. Yeah. Multiple people. Yeah, and then they claimed that he was just in Kaylee's room, which is wild to me too, because they've now told us that for like at least 30 minutes he was outside barking his head off after the car left. Him. He was trying to drive out there, but then he had been drinking, so Jasmine wouldn't let him. That's the story that we were told. Yeah. Whenever the first responders got there, apparently Murphy was just laying on Kaylee's bed. And there's no DNA on him whatsoever, but all the doors are open, and the doors to the house were open for 8 hours, and he didn't run away, apparently. Or did he? Because, we heard something. We heard something. And this part, not Xana's DoorDash. They've been telling us that it was all about Xana this entire time, and then turns out it got shit to do with Xana, and it's Ethan's account, and her TikTok time's off by an hour. So that's wild, too. I don't know about that, but the whole fact that she was putting a contact in her phone at 3:51, and the fact that the judge keeps just blatantly and purposely skipping over that and acting like she passed out at 3:20 and was startled awake at 4:00, and he just skips over the fact that she was doing something that, takes coordination and brain skills. You have to be cognitive at least a little bit in order to add a contact to your phone. I'm sorry, did what? That a person named Bryan, I'm sorry, you have a screenshot that says that Bryan is the one who brought the dog back? Please send that to me. Because I swear on everything, if that dog ended up getting brought back in the 9 o'clock hour, whenever they're trying to say that he was over on that side of town, I'm going to throw a fit. Never heard that before in my life. I just find it wild because I do remember hearing that. Thank you for the 199, Gemini. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just wild. There's so much going back and forth. Oh no, I have it, Miss Lindy J. I have the pizza Venmo. I did a video about it. I definitely have it. Me too. I'd like to know whenever Kaylee and Maddie's phones went dark, like fully dark, no app usage, etc. Me too. Me too. Me freaking too. Okay. Let's see what else we have on here. Okay. This is just one regarding whoever the he guy is and whatever this he person knows about the vehicle. And they're just saying that basically this person is assuming and that they need to be able to validate with cameras, which I completely agree. You have to have proof of, whatever you're trying to say here. This next one's interesting because it's about all the accounts and stuff going dark. I think I mentioned this already, though. I feel like if a bunch of people went dark afterwards, it doesn't necessarily mean that they might have been involved in anything. We all know how the internet works. We know that people like to go in and dissect everybody's everything. So it's really not too shocking, honestly, that a bunch of people went completely dark. I'm guessing maybe they're calling Bryan Inton Marky Mark. I wonder if they're calling him Marky Mark. Maybe. Now this got my attention a lot. Okay. This got my attention a super lot. I've said from the beginning they had an accomplice helping them dump evidence, and that person, whoever they were, was the owner of the Elantra. The question is whether or not Dylan knew what was going on, helped them, or found out during. Maybe someone sent her a message to hide, or just thought that Loach was going to come and fight Ethan. Now, that part's interesting because one of the things that we heard in court was that Dylan apparently said that she thought that it was just one of Ethan's friends, Ethan and Xana's friends, leaving. At the time that she's hearing all these things and all this noise and this singing and this music and whatever the frickin' hell else is happening, she says, according to Ann Taylor in court, reading the information from the interviews and the paperwork that she's looking at on the podium, okay, that she just thought that maybe it was one of Ethan and Xana's friends leaving for the night. So that last part's interesting. Also, the part about Little Miss Bridget. Now, I bring up Bridget because a lot of you guys remember Dot. Remember Dot? Dot came out and said that she was somebody who was in the apartments next door smoking or doing whatever on the balcony and saw people in the yard outside of King Road at whatever time, blah, 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 blah. Now, considering the fact that it was very probable, it turns out that it's very probable that person could have been accurate and might have actually seen something. It sucks that person came out and out of their own words admitted that they were a fraud and a fake and a liar, because that takes away a lot of that. And that kind of stuff is the problem here, and why I really try to not do a lot of that stuff. I'm human. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to look at all those things, but that's the main reason we try to stick to facts, because that person came out with this ridiculous story that a lot of people wanted to believe because of WSU Kim's base of her story. Not the crazy, but the base of that story. But then she came out herself and admitted her name is Braden, and she's a liar. She's not someone who actually saw anything at all. She was making up a story. And it's wild to me that even after she came out herself, guys, this isn't just people, cracked something or claiming that they exposed her or whatever is going on. This person named Braden came out and admitted themselves out of their own mouth that they were lying, that they were fabricating the entire thing, that they were not anyone named Dot. They were not Bridget, because that's who she was originally trying to impersonate, was Dylan's actual in real life friend, Bridget, which is why that's the only reason I'm even mentioning all of that right now, is because Bridget is mentioned in some of these because of her closeness to Dylan. And she was faked. Somebody came out pretending to be her under a fake name and then had to come out and admit that they were wrong. And I still see a lot of people in my comments, even though I've done a couple different videos on her situation and her being a liar and proved that she was false by her own words. And for some reason, because there's some channels that seem to just not care that she came out and admitted this stuff herself. Because there are videos being created now, all this year and a half after Dot has come out and said herself that she's lying about everything, and they try to make her look like a credible witness when she herself has admitted that she's a fake. So that's why I try not to really get in too far into those things, because look what it does. It takes people off into this just crazy whole different alternate universe when it comes to what's really happening, and you get so off course that you can't stay with the facts, and all kinds of other things start intertwining themselves. It's totally fine to look into all of the things, but to go and base your entire opinion on who's innocent and who's guilty based off of things that aren't true, that have no receipts, that are not facts, how can you do that? And it goes both ways. When it comes to this case right now, they're not really doing their job in proving that Bryan Kohberger is the guy who did this. They have to be able to prove that he was there. And my biggest issue with that is that the one piece of evidence that can really put him there, based on their own wording, is the one piece of evidence that they're telling the defense that they don't have. So how are you supposed to prove your case then? That doesn't make sense to me. How they're supposed to prove he's within a certain amount of feet and prove that he was in that house, but they don't have the records that can actually prove that. They have things that only go off of pings, which is such a wide range and not specific whatsoever. So how are they supposed to prove that? In all the information that they've, sent back now, they're not claiming that they're seeing his car in the neighborhood in that 9 o'clock hour that they're trying to claim his car was on that highway going south. If he was in the area, if he was actually at King Road, then how come we're not hearing that the car was seen on all these other cameras that they're claiming that the car was seen during the time of the crime? Wouldn't those exact same cameras be picking up his car at 9 o'clock daylight so that they can verify that it was actually him in the neighborhood? Instead, they're telling us a car that, again, in the daylight, they're not validating is actually Bryan's, even though the interstate readers would have clocked his tag. It would have clocked his freaking plate. They would know for sure that it was him. But none of that's happening. They're not giving us the same exact cameras between 9 and 9:30 catching him in the neighborhood. And to me, that matters. Those details to me extremely matter. That means that they don't have the specifics. The same way they're not saying that the K-bar has a USMC logo. They're just saying it's a K-bar. Why? Why can't you tell us that it's the exact same kind? Why are you not telling us it has the matching logo? You're doing everything else but tell us what we actually need to know in order to care what you have to say. Why? I don't understand. But it's not like I'm saying I don't understand because I'm stupid, which is so wild to me, because some idiot made a comment, for all the things you don't understand, maybe you should just stop trying. I'm sorry if you're too stupid to realize that me saying I don't understand is me saying that I don't understand how stupid people can be. Because I'm not a stupid people. I have common sense and logic. So whenever I'm sitting here saying I don't understand, it's because I don't understand how you can live your life being so stupid. I'm flabbergasted by the audacity of stupidity that I see on an everyday basis. That's what I don't understand. I understand plenty. I'm glad I don't understand certain things, because to be able to understand that kind of mindset would mean that I would have to sympathize with it, understand it in a way that I could connect with it. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to connect to none of this because none of this makes any sense. I like the way that I think just fine without all that other crazy ass shit happening. I think there's one more in here. I don't know what QRD means. I don't know why I kept this one. Oh, because wherever they said they saw the car was going towards wherever they claim that Dylan's friend lives, and it's near some new apartments, which I just found interesting, just like location-wise, really. I don't know. The 4chan posts have always been interesting to me because there's a lot of information in here that just makes a lot more sense than what they're trying to tell us when it comes to Bryan. And there's nothing wrong with going through and trying to figure out what sounds factual and what sounds like shit. You see my list of all the things I need to record right there? So many things I need to freaking do. But I can't just go based off of what people are saying with no proof. It's the same thing when it comes to this case. I have a lot of questions when it comes to the frat, when it comes to the fight that apparently happened, when it comes to the 19 minutes and the very intricately detailed timeline that, was created by these people, allegedly, in order to do these things, how the story that Steve Goncalves wants us to all ignore ends with his daughter not being the reason. And I feel like that maybe has something to do with it because all I ever see is them really wanting the spotlight for things. I can be sympathetic to the fact that there are parents who lost a child and still think that their behavior is disgusting. You can be two different things. So there's that. Which is actually kind of funny because the other day I said something about Dog the Bounty Hunter and about how he was cheating on his wife while she had cancer. And that was just like bullshit. There's no way that he's like sad, blah, blah, whatever. And somebody said that you can be sad and be a loser at the same time. And I'm like, how sad can you really be whenever you're already shopping around for the replacement? So it's sort of like, that catch-22 type situation. Who is Dylan related to? Apparently people in the law field. Apparently. Yeah, the way that he protects them is very odd, especially with what I've been told. And I've mentioned it before. I'll say it again in case some of you haven't heard it. I was told by Daniel from Drunk Turkey long time ago whenever I was on a show. I was on a show one time with Dago and one time without Dago, I think. It's been so long I don't even remember. Anyway, the time I was on there by myself, he talked to me for a little while behind, like in the back end of StreamYard. And that's never he told me that Jack Takor told the Goncalveses that he heard Dylan with her whole seeing somebody in black story. She was reiterating that to somebody on the phone whenever he was at the scene still. Not to the cops. He didn't hear her saying it to the cops, even though we know she did or whatever she said to the cops. But she was on the phone. She was saying this to somebody on a phone call. So whenever Steve Goncalves went up to them at the back, they were in the back of the memorial service. And whenever he wanted to talk to them, Bethany jetted the hell up out of there, wouldn't even, let him get a question in. And whenever he asked Dylan to her face, is there anything that you could tell me? Did you hear anything? Did you see anything? She lied to him and said, I don't know. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. I was asleep. He knew from what Jack had already told him that that was a damn lie. So for him to come out here and protect them makes me sick to my stomach because, homeboy, she lied to your face about your daughter. What the hell's wrong with you protecting her? So I don't know if it's like a guise and he's only doing that until trial and then he's going to flip on them, which is what he should be doing because maybe he's just playing like a really, really long game all up in the shadows and shit, or he's really just stupid. Because how the hell are you going to be okay? How the hell are you going to be okay? Knowing she lied to you about your daughter's death and you're out here publicly protecting her. I mean, you can only expect so much from a man who completely disowned his daughter and then, try to take somebody else's daughter as his own. I don't like him, bro. I don't like him at all. He's very brainwashed. Something's wrong. So I don't know if he's like stuck. I don't know if he's like stuck because he's really realizing that stuff's not adding up and he's going back to the time period where he felt like he really still had some control because he's losing control And it's like a mental thing. Like I'm really trying to be more sympathetic than such an asshole because people act like I'm so rude. Oh my God. No, I just think what people are thinking that they're too freaking scared to say because, oh, their feelings. Okay, well, what about the victim's true justice here? Like, I'm sorry, but it's them over spotlight seekers 24/7. It will always be the victims over the spotlight seekers for freaking ever. I feel bad for all the families until I don't have a reason to feel bad for you anymore. Whenever you start milking this and coming out and lying, how many GoFundMes have they had? How many GoFundMes to pay off all kinds of things? He's got so much freaking money and he's mad because he spent money to go to a court session that wasn't even his money that he was told not to show up to because it was closed anyway, then had the nerve to get pissed off because he did it anyway. What? They're everywhere. They are everywhere. Damage control. That's it too. I'm really curious about what this session is going to be on the 5th. 2nd, 3rd. That's Monday. I wonder if it's about what Steve said. Because he not only is like terroristically threatening people, which I still have probably like 4 more parts of that interview that I need to do for my review. Because I'm taking it in strides. But I also recorded myself reviewing the one that he did on News Nation where he mentions the broken nose. Now, again, I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and mention it. I didn't mention it in my video, but I'll mention it now because some of you are in the groups. I know for a fact some of you guys are in the groups. So did any of you guys see this? I heard about it. I haven't watched it yet. I wasn't sure if there was new information extended. I'm going to have to. Okay, I'm going to have to. I mean, people need to be opening their eyes for sure. What was I going to say? I just completely forgot my thought. God, I freaking forgot. I hate whenever that happens because I'll just like randomly in the middle of something non-related whatsoever blurt something out completely unrelated, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's just what I was thinking about earlier that I completely forgot." It was something about the interview too, the News Nation one. Damn. Oh, so somebody told me that in the Facebook groups. I don't know if it's the actual Goncalves page or if it's another one that's private where some of them go in there and they talk under fake names, sort of like they do on Discord. There's a lot of stuff that people don't really know about, I guess. Anyway, anybody in the Facebook groups see anything that was posted about Kaylee having multiple skull fractures? Ashley Banfield is awful, but I'll watch the pieces where he's talking just to see if there's some updated information. Someone told me that it said that in one of the Facebook groups, but they couldn't remember which one. It was sent to them, so they didn't see it themselves either. I mentioned it in my last video doing a review, but only that I had heard something else, but I don't know if it's valid because I can't find it. That rings a bell. I'll see if I can find it. Okay, so several of you have seen it. Okay, apparently, yeah, she had multiple skull fractures. That's what's apparently been going around in the Facebook groups. That's wild to me because how are you going to say that Bryan Kohberger is the one that did that, but he didn't have any injuries on his hands? If the autopsy results are coming back saying that it was done physically with somebody's hand, which there's going to be a way that experts can tell that. Apparently, this even says that there was knuckle impressions, indentions in her bones or something like that. Thank you for the $20. Say it louder. Lana has a headline of replacing Hitler. Let me see. I haven't seen anything. Maybe people are trying to petition to get him off the case because he's not a whatchamadoodler. Oh my God. The CW put out another episode. And of course, it's Banfield just pop, right there on the screen, all up in your face. Now, it's crazy because this thumbnail, and I'm not going to show it to you guys. I'm just looking at it. The thumbnail, you can tell that somebody is really, really bad at editing because even in my little bitty cheapy editor, I can remove the background better than what the hell's going on here. And the CW has like millions of subscribers. So the fact that they have such crappy editing software is just so absurd to me. Okay, let me see. Interesting. She has a live scheduled for tomorrow. And it says something about ICR 25. I guess there's a rule that she found. When it comes to Idaho, I'm not going to just like go search it up and do it on the video here because that's obviously something that she's doing tomorrow. Yeah, I guess if she found something that he violated, you know, he sucks. He's never done anything like this before. So he definitely, you know, doesn't really know much about what he's doing. Why did they take E's golf clubs? Better question. Why was it that the defense had E's golf clubs? Yeah, I've always questioned that too. Thank you for joining, Pam Lake. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Is that what it said on the Facebook thing? Is that what it said on the Facebook thing? She's completely pushed in. Have y'all ever seen the movie Pan's Labyrinth? Is it Pan's Labyrinth? Yeah. It's in like real Spanish or Latin or something like that. That right there reminded me of a scene in that movie. That is wild as shit if that's the case. That too, right there. If there's, oh man. Yeah, especially if there's indentions. If that portion's true, then yeah, I could see it definitely being brass freaking knuckles. That would make more sense. She brought it up again. Well, okay, so then let me ask this question about Candace Owens for those of you who are like excited about the fact that she's going to be talking about it. How do you guys feel about the fact that the first thing that she said in her little like talking about it clips are how she feels like it's some sort of like undercover military operation? That's putting a lot on this. And I know that it's sketchy as shit. And I know that Brent Kopaka asks a whole lot of questions. And she does have a way to have, you know, a lot of different sorts of resources. So maybe, but I find that like wild that she's just coming out before she's ever talked about it before. And the first thing she says is like military operation. And I'm like, whoa, buddy. Okay. There's going to be some interesting stuff that comes out from this. So hopefully if she does do a video, she does it soon because I'm really interested to see the information she has on there being, you know, a military operation. Maybe she's going to have a lot of information about this stuff that happened with Brent Kopaka because there's no way that she's like seeing all this stuff and not seeing that stuff too. What the frick? Spanish, the real shit, bro. Wow. See, that's my whole thing right there about what Steve Goncalves is doing too. Like he knows damn well because of how they came across Chronicles of Olivia that this was something that Kaylee was passionate about. So whenever you're coming out here and you're talking all that damn trash, talking down to people that are asking questions and basically doing the exact same thing your freaking child would be doing if she was alive right now, and this case was about somebody else's freaking quadruple homicide, okay? You're sitting here talking about how everyone's just stupid and we're morons and we're pro-burgers, and you just talk all kinds of shit about us. While you sit there on a panel with somebody who has talked shit about your child, you put an arm around another guy who talks shit about your child. You have like the worst taste in people, broski, okay? The people that you've chosen to do this is beyond questionable. So if this is what you choose and the people that you choose to represent your child and her death, then what the hell were you really doing in life, in her life? Because for real, I'm not impressed whatsoever. Y'all came out here acting like holy roly Christian all-American family value, and y'all are out of y'all's damn minds. Welcome, Sleuthslation. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for the $10. Shenanigans. I appreciate that too. Castilian Spanish. Is that what it's called? That might be what it's called. Oh, I missed something else. What did I miss? It's telling me that I missed something else. What did I miss? Oh, you joined and you gave me a 149 super sticker. Thank you so much. Oh, a second 10. Thank you, Shenanigans. Were you trying to say something? Because it looks like there's like a text box, but it's empty. Carla, welcome. You just missed our members only live. We do members only lives every last Monday of the month, where I pretty much do like a little thing and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm guessing not. They're saying it's coming up. It'll be interesting because I'm going to definitely watch it. We might review it live. I mean, I'm sure that a whole bunch of you guys are just going to run and watch it the second that it happens, but we still will probably watch it together and see what she has to say. I mean, I don't want to read it. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. People will hear me talking about certain things that I want to do on my channel, and they'll flock to their favorite creators, or they'll go to whoever's channel that they're a mod for and give them the idea, and then somebody else does it before I get to it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to read it. I figured that's what it was for. Oh, my effing Jeebus. What, Heather? Yes. I love that movie. Beautiful movie. Twizzy's in here. Somebody said something a second ago about he held the door open for Steve and he said thank you. I wonder if he just doesn't realize that it's Twiz. Well, now from watching the hearings and everything and all the commentary from the hearings, I'm sure he knows it was Twiz. Now he does anyway. A shooting star video? What? What did I say? I'm so confuzzled. What did I say about a shooting star? So confused. I feel like I'm a little bit behind. Demented. Welcome. Your little devil girl almost looks like some Amy Brown art. That's pretty cool. The 4chan posts were really creepy. They're really, really creepy, especially, again, the timeline. Like, the timeline, the four heads in the back of Banfield, the timing, the silence, the fact that there's, like, nothing going on, the 8-hour delay, and the fact that the only really big thing about that is that they're all in college together. They're all in college together, and they're all loyal to Greek life. They have an expert to dispute that a picture or video was taken that night by BK of shooting stars. So they do have a video on the phone of him actually like taking pictures of stars? Oh, well, I appreciate it. Well, thank you. That's wild. But I find it hilarious, and this is going to get brought up in my review video because, Steve Goncalves seems to just forget the way that people used to do things before technology, which is wild because my age people are the ones who are supposed to be forgetting that stuff, not him. Okay? People don't need stargazing apps on their phones to know what the hell they're looking at up in the sky. Okay? I am no astronomer, astrologer, horoscoper, whatever the frick you want to call any of that. But I can tell you which one is the Little Dipper, which one's the Big Dipper, which one has Orion's Belt, which one actually is Orion's Belt, North Star. I can tell you a few little things. I can navigate myself around a little bit. I don't need a freaking app. I have a father who was in the Navy and taught me certain things. I have, knowledge in my brain. And even though my son wasn't really taught too much, he's still good at like navigating around without a map. He's really good at monuments and being able to tell northeast, southwest really well. My oldest son, you don't have to have an app to know these things. That's just as ridiculous as being pissy about the fact that somebody drives around alone at night with no GPS on because they know the roads and they can. You don't need an app for everything to survive. People seem to forget that stuff. You can do all these things without an app on your phone. The way that he went crazy about there being no apps on his phone, I'm like, bro, why are you mad? That just means that he maybe actually knows what he's doing, or maybe he doesn't really need to look at certain, constellations. He's just going out to see how beautiful everything is. Imagine being an avid sky watcher and thinking it's clearer an hour away in any direction. Pretty much explains driving at 4 a.m. Exactly. Just because you have like clouds over your house doesn't mean you have clouds 5 minutes away. Definitely, for sure. For sure. I know. All of the introverts watching the prosecution say it's suspicious for someone to drive around alone at night. No shit. Yep, I can find the dippers. I've been able to find the dippers since I was in elementary school. Exactly. And you don't need an app to see shooting stars. You just need to be out of the city. Because inside Pullman, with all of the lights on, especially like on the weekend, whenever there's like football games and stuff going on, the college lights, you can't see the sky that well. You would probably have to drive out of town anyway. So yeah, again, it makes sense. Yeah, I can get rain on one side of my house and bone dry. It's like in Texas. Well, honestly, I feel like it's like this a lot of places. You'll be driving right towards the sun. It'll be blinding you. Your corneas are burning right out of your face. But then you look into the rearview mirror and here comes the darkest, most disgusting rain cloud you've ever seen in your life. The weather is more bipolar than me. I'll say that. It's really insane. Yep. Elementary school. We've known about this stuff for forever. Mm-hmm. It's just wild. Just wild. That's how my dad is. The natural sky watcher. He just knows all the things. See, and you take photos of clouds at night. Well, sometimes they're like wispy and they're going through the moon just right and they look really creepy and cool. And I'm not even a sky person and I still think it's cool. Yeah, you'll definitely drive an hour to get to where you can see the sky if you really want to be out there where you are at peace. Mm-hmm. There's a YouTube called Learn the Sky, and then you go out and identify them. Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, guys. It's 10:30. We're right at 2 hours. We're going to go ahead and close this out. I'm glad we got to go over the 4chan posts. If there's more that I find, or if you guys send me some that are different than what we've... Little heatless curls in here I'm going to try. That we've gone over, send them to me. And maybe we'll go over them again. But they're really interesting because this is stuff that like the community was talking about. And the timing is crazy. And there's just so much more stuff in here that makes sense, even with the information that we're getting from the official agencies. Like I said, I took the information from the PCA. Again, I know it's pretty much irrelevant, and I need to do it again with the newest information that came out with the make and model of the car, because there's even more timestamps now. So I really should sit down and do it all over again and see if I come up with the same result. So maybe this weekend I'll have time to do that. I've got to paint, cut down some I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, if I do get to do it, then I'll get the video out this weekend. If not, then it's not a big deal. Free who? Who's a bed? Free a bed? For me to sleep on? Yes, please, free up a bed so I can get some sleep. Yeah, I'm going to go drink some lavender tea now. A bed from community. What happened? Is that a story that I don't know about? Oh. Somebody with autism? Okay, well, maybe I'll have to look at that story and see what's going on with that one. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. The show community. Oh, the TV show community? I think I've heard of that. Did BK take off the Monday after? That's what we've been told. That's what we've been told since the very beginning, but we also were told that it was like a scheduled doctor's appointment, as far as I can remember. I know Steve Goncalves said it again in his interview. I just don't know if he actually like called in or if it was something that was already scheduled, because it was apparently a doctor's appointment. Slate is so loud. So I'm not really quite sure. The doctor's appointment thing I know for sure happened. So again, I don't know if Steve Goncalves is just out here like over exaggerating what it was, because he's also like, and it's also the only time he didn't go. Well, it was also only like 2 months after school started or so. August, September, October, November, 3-ish months after school started. Doctor's appointment, not really a big deal. So if it really was just a normal ass doctor's appointment, it was already pre-scheduled. There was no like last minute call out. Again, not suspicious whatsoever. It's just something that maybe somebody's coming out and giving us the wrong information because, you know, it was scheduled. Yeah, that's what I figured too. It was that and what was it? Haircut. He had a haircut and stuff too. There was people there that saw that he didn't have any injuries on him. There were people in there that saw that he did not have any injuries on his hands. He wasn't limping. There was no bruises. There was no red stuff. And if they're going to try to say again that all these things happened, especially to Kaylee, that timeline is not working. What they're claiming about him having no injuries definitely is not working. The fact that they're trying to say that he would have had on some sort of, yeah, you can have those. Shut my door. The fact that they're trying to say that he had on some sort of cloth, close it. No chocolate. I'm on the live. Give me a minute. Whenever they try to say that he would have had on one of those like cloth, like balaclava, I cannot say that word. I always want to say like the dessert whenever I say that word. Anyway, maybe that would have stopped him from getting scratched to a certain degree if it was like double layered, maybe, because they're material. They're just material. But as for no bruising, no redness, no actual bruise, no lumps, no nothing, I just don't see how. I just don't see how. But I'm going to go so I can get my lavender tea before my son ends up climbing on the counter and getting his Nutella stuff out so he can dip his animal cracker in his Nutella, because that's what he's trying to. That's what I keep thinking of. What? Baklava. These words. All these words. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go. I'm going to put my little thingy on here. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday night with me. We try to go live every Thursday night here. Again, if sometimes I can't, then I'll let you guys know a little bit ahead of time. Thank you so much for all of the super stickers, the super chats, all of the reminders of how long you guys have been members. I really love seeing how long you guys have been here, because it means you actually care. You actually care about being here. You want to show your support. That's really, really like special to me. You guys just don't even understand. You really just don't even understand. Thank you for the gifted memberships and all of the love and all of the things You guys are freaking amazing. Y'all have a great night. Please be careful tomorrow if y'all decide to go out and have fun on a Friday night, because people are cray and there's a bunch of little diseases and stuff like spreading all over the place. Keep your chitlins safe from all them little bumpy thingy-mabobbers. You'll have a good night. I'm going to play my little thingies, and I'm going to go get my lavender tea, and I'm going to try to get some sleep. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. I mean, I honestly don't know how much sleep I can get whenever I have this entire cup of coffee that I've been drinking, but we're going to see. Okay, y'all have a great night. See y'all.